Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Y'all are brewheads? Yeah, we brewheads. So pour a glass of craft beer, we can do this. Yeah.
What's good, y'all? This is Cee, certified brewhead.
I'm Tiffany. You're so funny.
No,
You literally said, yeah, but you also literally said, hey, I'm going to introduce you in this way. And I literally forgot within the first, 1 second.
I wonder this time, guys.
Yeah. Hey, guys, I'm Tiffany, liquid enthusiast.
Yes, you are.
Yeah,
and welcome to
love
episode
liquids.
9 of the Link Up series here on BAOS. That even threw me off as well, because it's like a pattern. Like, if you miss one little beat, it's over.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you for coming back. I hope you've enjoyed the series 2 of Link Up so far. I forgot to check the mic levels. There we go. We're good. This evening, so basically now this is episode 9 of the Link Up series, the 4th episode as a part of series 2 of our Link Up launch. So you would have heard from Overhop, you would have heard from Blood Brothers, Nickelbrook, and now the 4th brewery to participate in our series of collaborations that have resulted in some phenomenal beer and some genuinely intelligent, inspiring, insightful conversations. That's three eyes.
Look at that. Look at that.
I should rap or
alliteration,
something.
not really alliteration.
Bars, fam.
You should rap sometime.
I'll think about it.
Yeah.
So this evening, we have a brewery who has been on 2 times. We'll tell you the episodes in a second if you want to hear the full history. But tonight, we'll be talking all things Link Up. Please welcome, this is the first time this has ever happened as well. We have Mike D squared of Fort Origins in Montreal. That's
Hello.
2 Mike D's, because I thought beforehand, I was like, oh, it's Mike O, but it's D apostrophe O.
Mm-hmm.
And other Mike D.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very confusing.
It's very key. Well, welcome to you both. Welcome back. Mike D apostrophe O. Mike D. Hey, that's where we can do it.
There you go.
Welcome for the first time, bro. This is great to have you. Appreciate you both.
Thank you for having me.
It is,
Hey, great to have us.
yeah, it genuinely is. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for being a part of Link Up, you
Yes, thank you
flipping
guys
legends.
so much.
We are going to. I waited the other night. Me and Mike D apostrophe O was talking about. We were talking about. That's the guy in the flannel. He was like, "Yo, try the
Do
beer."
I have to take it off?
No, leave it on. No.
That's what's gonna happen.
All right.
I'm going full city seltzer Dominion.
Ooh,
There you
love it.
go, rapping.
Right here.
Yeah.
Rapping. I love it.
that.
Look at that. I
Yeah.
didn't know they did merch.
Yeah.
That's fire.
Of course they do.
I got distracted. You were like, yo, try the beer beforehand. I do have a bit of a thing I think every single time I've tried the beer with the brewery on the pod, intentionally for the first time, it's like
You had a first reaction.
yeah, it's kind of fun. Because then you talk me through it and I feel like I'm being hugged. Directly. So, look at this.
It's nice. It's nice to feel hugged.
Isn't it?
Very
Yeah.
important.
It's all we have in this world, So you guys delivered a beautiful minimal can, which I appreciate thoroughly there. So we're gonna bust this open. Tell us about the beer, what it is, ABV, hops, thinking behind it, the whole works. Whilst we take pictures. Whoever wants to.
All
go.
right. Well, I'll start this off, and I'll kind of share it with Mike, just because the other Mike D, right?
Yes,
Is,
the other Mike D.
a newer member of the team. First of all, I know Greg for a while, but Tiff, this is one of the first times we've actually done this kind of thing, and I have to say I'm also a very big liquid enthusiast.
Oh, well, hello.
That's why
Pleasure
that's it. One of the reasons we started the brewery. So
Right.
just we have something in common,
I love that.
I love it.
Obviously, you've taken your enthusiasm to another level. Clearly, you doubled down. You went in on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I just keep drinking.
I
I'm just drinking, not making.
Well, I mean, people think it's about brewing, but I really just test the final product. So no, this like I said, the other Mike D. It's gonna get confusing. Joined us recently. For someone I've known for quite a while. Great member to the team. Very large beer enthusiast in general.
Yes, he is.
Supporter of the cause.
A wonderful
But his,
photographer.
Wonderful photographer. You can
And
check out.
your
Where
beer
can people check out your photos and your
Yes,
beer?
just
your
real
beer
quick while we-
writings?
Yeah, I am beer Brit _ MTL, I guess.
There you
MTL.
go.
Instagram.
Tasting notes A1 as well. I love it. It's beautiful. Continue. I'm sorry, Mike D apostrophe O.
Yeah, sorry. By the way, these aren't hearing aids. I put in these old school earbuds right over here.
Sometimes you got to.
Anyways, that's it. So I think my partner Keegan had spoken to you guys like at the beginning of the project
Yes.
with the initial individuals around the concept, and like we've been on board since day one. Like part of the Foragins mentality has just been to support everything in any context. We love opinions. We love all points of view, everyone, everywhere. And when we heard about this Link Up project, it just kind of spoke to us. We had other things in the pipeline, other projects that reciprocated this mentality of allowing opportunity for people or individuals that would generally not be the priority for let's say like in the brewing industry, whether it's going to be Quebec or in general. And we were just ready to open the doors to like, hey, do you like this company? Do you like this idea? Do you like the idea of beer? Let's go. So with that in mind, the recipe that we sought out to create was a DDH pale ale. It's a little bit less of like kind of your, well, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this, but it's usually you hear DDH IPA, DDH pale ale. The idea is like everything that you guys have had from Foragins is to create something a little bit more drinkable, a little bit more sessionable, a little bit more approachable, but not to lack that character that you expect when you say DDH. So I think that the marketing versus brewing concept behind this was really DDH, and from a taste, mouthfeel profile to the pale ale, which represents Foragin from a sessionability concept. And I'm very happy with the end product. We focus really on Vic Secret and Citra in this recipe as hops. So
Vic Secret and Citra.
Yeah, exactly. And
selfies. They're always
I haven't had
harder.
it yet, so I'm going to review it live. That's why I want you to talk me through it. So Vic Secret and Citra. And
as being the main,
they're the main
I
hops.
just want to you get this like, so I mean you guys can see like it's actually very bright as a color. If you hold it up to the light, it's not like a dark yellow. It's a very like
Lemon.
it's a very lemony color. It still smells. It's got a nice lacing head also, but it still smells. I'm gonna call it that like oat pasty, like hot green aspect to it. It's got that, but then when you're actually taking that sip, it holds that green like thick aspect, but that transitions into a sweeter bread malt, citrusy tropical potential that just kind of dries in that finish. And for a Foragin, it's always about balance. And Mike D, not apostrophe, might be able to add a comment on that. So.
Yeah, that's always what, even before I started working
Cheers,
for Foragins, I said,
Cheers.
Get it in your
I
folks.
was always a fan of. Cheers. Get it in you. The thing I was always a fan of was that like malt profile that Foragins has that always seems to balance out everything. Like malt is the core. Everyone talks about hops all the time, DDH, everything, but that backbone, if it's not there, there's not much to the beer, right? So I think this, even for like 5.5%, we've got a good solid body there, but it's still light enough to absolutely crush this.
100%. This is delicious.
No, it's solid. I see what you mean
great.
about the malt forward. So it's still like nice and bright and tropical, but it's definitely got a really solid, like a cereal vibe that maybe you don't find as much in this kind of beer. That sometimes the profile can be hidden by the shit ton of hops and such, which is super.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's still very, very much hop forward. Like recently, the beers we've been upping we've learned a lot about dry hopping, right, Mike? And we're testing out a dry hop series of beers and doing way more hops than we ever used to do in the past. So it's it's still that it's got that hop forward stuff. We're learning to balance that with the kind of the malt profile that we like, and that kind of that side of the beer
Exactly.
too. So.
And
Nice.
I think for us, it's always been super important to have that middle ground where, like, one of Foragin's super important things, which we showcase in Link Up, and this one I think it's a little special. I'm actually very, very, very happy with this beer.
Good.
I think it's really delicious, to be honest. It has a way of being it's rare to kind of have that pale ale feeling that if you had a blindfold and you weren't paying attention to alcohol, you would actually believe to be a DDH IPA that wasn't, I mean, not the most intense thing, but that mouthfeel, that smell of like that oats, wheat, and it's just that complexity. It's really there, but it keeps it sessionable, and I think that sessionability is super important to us. Like, we don't want to make something boozy because we want to grab all that sugar and malt from the actual product. We want to create something that's balanced, and we want something drinkable. So if we create something, it's going to be something that you can finish and then want another one. And I think this really encompasses that mentality.
100%.
I
love it. I think it's delicious.
Yeah, this is great, guys. This is, I think you nailed exactly how you just described it. It's on brand for what you guys do. And I don't know, I feel like with the Link Up stuff, it's been really interesting because we don't interfere with this in any shape or form. There's no discussion. You could literally do anything. So, like, I love that. I've really loved the organic way that it's come about, that you've made something that's true to your brand, that your fans and your followers and your community are going to just enjoy drinking, and that's what it is. Obviously, this beer, we want to make sure that it moves, and as well. I don't know if I'm allowed to say where it's going to be at, because by the time this comes out, it'll be everywhere.
Yes, we released it at the brewery yesterday, as of recording this. So as with our official reopening, and after the close down,
Congratulations!
So Link Up launching with that.
Nice.
And then
Quebec.
Great work, Quebec. Best just premiere ever.
It's just at the Pointe Saint-Charles location for now, because the other one is under renovation for top secret purposes.
Okay.
For coming soon. But then it'll be going out to specialist retailers tomorrow. So for the week after, and then eventually we'll be getting across stores in Quebec. We've produced enough to kind of spread the word and get into basically as anywhere that wants it can get their hands on it, essentially.
I love that.
And Mike, I think that's an important point, just to say, like, it's not just in terms of accessibility, but it's accessibility in our distribution range. Luckily, Foragin's, like, with our current facility on St. Patrick in Pointe St. Charles, is able to kind of pump out a good volume. Our next facility in Dorval is going to be able to pump out an even greater volume. But what that does, and why I think we also chose to go with this pale ale attitude rather than IPA, is to keep it accessible, right? We have to remember that, like, we distribute to grocery stores. We want this branding, this idea of Link Up to be accessible to the most general public possible, and have people asking, what is this? Like, is this just another brand on the shelf, or is this an idea and whatnot? And we're going to do our best to try to promote that, whether it's on social media. Mike's on the road, if he can speak to retailers and whatnot, but really getting the idea across. It's easy to send any other label out into the world. Today's market is so competitive that this idea of Link Up could just end up on the shelf as another beer. But we're hoping to send that, like, we have a great relationship with our specialty retailers and our grocery stores, whether it be big chains or not, that we're really hoping that this could meet the biggest audience possible.
I love that so much. When Mike D, no apostrophe, came by the other day to drop him off, he tell me about all this. I know I'm jumping on your nomenclature here, and I was genuinely stoked.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, because I have, we keep obviously I've got one of all the cans up on the shelf, because I'm extraordinarily proud of all the breweries who are down to work with us and on this project. And the fact that I don't think anything from the first round went into any sort of distro outside of the breweries themselves. So this round, I believe, is this one, and also Overhop got distributed across Quebec throughout the networks. And to me, that is something I was telling Tiff.
Cool. Yeah.
I was like, we didn't even consider that as an option. So for this, exactly what you just said, man, like the average beer consumer who maybe doesn't really go to many breweries and just buys the stuff from a supermarket or specialty beer store now has the opportunity to purchase this and go, what's this about?
Yeah.
And they'll be able to look it up and get some more information about the program, and hopefully, it's essentially just spread the word further, and hopefully that grows the industry or contributes to the mission. So I love it.
Yeah.
I love that you guys decided to do that. It's legit.
That's why the design is relatively simple, but like Mike was saying, it's accessible. You can see it's one of our beers. Our logo is prominent on it, but so is yours, the Link Up logo.
Yeah.
The yellow is tying, so on the shelves you'll be able to see Overhop's beer and ours will be probably out at the same time. You'll be able to see that this Link Up is something.
That is interesting.
It's making that splash of yellow on the shelf will hopefully make you can go and find the other ones and like test them. And we've got Nano from Overhop, and then a Pale Ale, so two very like easy drinking accessible beers. But not maybe this month not everyone is drinking hard or going as hard as normal in dry February.
But I mean,
a lower ABV is that
Pale Ale like still complements. I mean, doesn't complement non-alcoholic month or like our dry Feb in Quebec.
Mm-hmm.
Not to do that, but we sent about. Sorry, I said a boot. Very Canadian.
Yeah, you told you were. It was so Canadian.
That was
I was like, I'll leave it alone.
You took off the flannel, though, Mike.
Can I take that back?
We're actually going to use it as part of the trailer.
That's going to be the clip.
It's going to be the clip that we use now.
Yeah, put the flannel back on. Put it back on. Yeah.
We sent about 160 cases of 24 out into the world,
Wow.
Like, not trying to say anything about like our ability to brew or whatnot, but it's just that's a nice volume. I have to say that it did actually help that exposure for us to be closed, right? In the sense that we would have kegged more. And in retrospect, like thinking about it, we would have kegged because we want to have it in the tap room. It's beneficial to the brewery itself. No full transparency, like financially, whatnot. But now thinking about the way it ended up, I'm actually very happy because the exposure by not having those kegs there and every single can that got on, like a 50-liter keg converted to can is that many more cans that's out there, and potentially asking people, what is this?
Yeah.
So
I love
pretty
that.
awesome.
Exactly. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And what you said also, Mike D, no apostrophe. No apostrophe. Was that people might see that, for example, and then see Overhop, for example, and then be like, oh, okay, hold on, what's going on here? Like, what's this link up thing and this yellow going on? I love that. That's so cool. And just further. So thank you. That's really cool.
I might actually have a name tag sticker here. Just look for that. Like,
thank you for that. Yeah.
Just to be abundantly
just
clear.
So we're clear.
just so we're clear.
Yeah. No, but I love that, guys. So thank you. And like, probably maybe I have some bias, but this is like probably one of my top 3 favorite beers from Origins, I think. Yeah. Probably biased.
Oh, okay.
I'm probably biased a little bit, but I think it's delicious. I love this.
Fantastic.
This is my favorite like style. So I don't know. I just enjoy this and IPAs, of course. But this is like such my vibe. This is like my kind of beer. It's perfect to me. So
I like it.
We got Mosaic in there too. I forgot.
Okay, let's touch Mosaic. You're right that in.
It's a Vic Secret showcase with a battling competition of Citra and Mosaic at different phases, but yeah,
awesome.
Rapping for Australia right there. Okay, so that's amazing. Something else I don't know if people know. So you guys, like you said, Mike D apostrophe. I was talking with Keegan. I remember it being warm. So it was actually probably like September or something last year when you guys got involved in this. It was like an automatic, like, how do we get involved? There was, you guys approached, and I was super stoked to have that. One thing that came out of this was, it sort of like was a new, we might have touched on this in one of the other episodes, but when some of the applicants had reached out to us, and not everybody wanted to go through the program. Some of the people were actually already working in craft beer in different positions. Some of them as brewers and other I actually can't remember off the top of my head, maybe servers or like bartenders and stuff like that, front of house. And they were looking for, assistance being, put in touch with other breweries, either in their city or another city that were looking for, had open job positions. And we happened to have a girl from Latin America, and she was moving to Montreal. And because you guys still hadn't got involved, obviously that happened this week, you were already involved, but it was pre your release. She was there, and immediately we were like, well, let's see if the guys are interested in that, or if they have a need for what she's able to do. So I'd love to just hear your perspective on this situation, because it was sort of new for us. Maybe it was new for you guys to work with an organization and it was kind of like, from our side, it was more of a handoff, but it showcases the whole point of having these partner breweries in different places. So someone's there, we're like, hey, make one phone call, shoot an email, boom, boom, it's done. Link them up.
And I think it's no, totally. I completely agree. And I think for us, it's we've been searching and deliberately like creating opportunities such as this for ourselves, and in looking for them. Honestly, they've been seldom in terms of being created outside of our organization. We're only so much in control of like what we can do. And we try to create some internally, but when we found out from you guys after already being like, it's just an organic, like it just made sense for Four Origins. It's just organic that there was someone who's interested. It was very quick for us to be like, okay, well, let's just make this happen. And so when you reached out to Keegan and myself, we were like, let's go. So Sarah came on board. It was a super great experience. She did a mixture of back of house and front of house. And when I say that, it means anything in production and also touching base on the service aspect. So engaging with clients, understanding like our products, the brewing industry in general, in terms of like what styles and how do we address that to individuals, all the way to helping Maya in the lab, Maya being our QC manager in the back end. And Maya had an amazing time with Sarah, thought she was brilliant. And it was a really great experience, like whether it was from helping out with density readings and figuring out where our beers were in terms of fermentation, understanding better cell counts under the microscope. It really gave a very large range of potential for Sarah to figure out if she wanted to take that to the next level herself, and for us to really experience someone who was just genuinely interested in working at a brewery. And I think both sides were super appreciative of the experience. And I would love to do it again, to be honest. And I think that there's a lot of potential for people who have an interest in the brewery. It's so wide, the range of things you can do in a brewery, right? And I think that's vastly misunderstood, where it's like you're not necessarily a brewer, and like you can have this idea of a cellar person, a brewer, someone, a lab tech, someone who's just in the tap room. It's so much more than that, and each person in the brewery feeds off each other, because without that other person, it doesn't work. Yeah. So it's this giant family, and when you have like someone that comes in who's interested in all these different aspects, it's synergy, right?
Yeah, 100%.
It's really cool. Yeah,
I love that so much. I love that was a good experience for you both, and just in terms of like, that's what we're hoping to do, right? That's the whole point. Someone can come in. I love that there were so many different aspects you got to try, which is also key. And then you make the decision. What do you want to do? What area do you want to go in, and how do you want to develop yourself in this arena? And definitely looking forward to bringing a lot more people in, which was why the whole job board thing came up.
Yeah. And this was just the first little taste of it.
Yeah.
And speaking of jobs, we might as well just touch on it now since we're right here. So you have another facility in Dorval opening up in the coming months. I imagine there would be, like you were saying earlier, that there's a bunch of positions that people can look out for that are coming up. Have you guys how? I know it's difficult here in Montreal, I think more so than maybe in other places, to find a more diverse applicant base. It's not as sort of straightforward, but first of all, those jobs, what kind of jobs are going to be available? And second, I guess, where would people find those jobs? Obviously, we're still finalizing the last part, so we're going to put all those up on our job board once we have that up in the coming weeks. But just maybe speak to that a little bit, what people can sort of look for, how they can find it, and what that's been like for you in the past.
I'm gonna let Mike, if you want to talk a little bit about what's available. I'm gonna say just as a general statement over here, all the positions are available. And
okay.
As a very very vague, but as a general statement, just kind of go back to the point before Mike goes into more detail. I would like to take a point to any other brewery listening out there that's interested in doing the Link Up program. That what I said before for me is the most important thing is that if you bring someone on in any role and you maintain that personality of a craft brewery, like a single person can have many roles. It all ties together. And I don't think you should be discouraged by engaging someone on production, on service, just because if you think that it's not the right fit for you because you either don't have the money or the opportunity to bring someone on in a specific role, just ask that question to them. Be like, are you willing to balance out these roles between other required positions? Because for that person coming in, it might not matter what they're doing consistently for a week or two. It might just matter to be in that environment. So just go for it. Just go for it and have that conversation. Bring them in regardless. I think it's important to just acknowledge that.
Love it.
Yeah. So at the moment, actually, we're currently hiring for a few positions because we're looking to, as we mentioned, we're opening the new facility in Dorval. So we're looking, as it goes, for a chef, taproom manager, and we're also looking for, front of house for both locations. But like Mike said, there's also kind of, we're expanding, we're going to be growing. So there's going to be plenty of opportunities that come up both front and back of house as we go. We're taking more and more stuff in-house, we're taking canning in-house at Dorval, so there's
nice.
room for doing things like that. There'll be plenty of opportunities, and I'm going to add, because I think I'm the newest employee at Four Origins since October. And my expertise was really just my experience was just a passion about beer. I haven't worked in the industry before, but I have been kind of adjacent to it through Instagram, through blogging, through that. But really, Four Origins are willing to take a chance on people who really are passionate and interested and fascinated about working in the industry. So it doesn't have to be another white guy like me, but it can be anyone who's passionate or interested in beer or in the industry in general. So that's what we really want to reach out to those and find those people who are passionate about it to join our team and become part of that.
Love that.
So you don't need to know what you're doing, but you need to know beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it.
That's
Other
it.
than that, just come to the door. What? Sorry, Mike D, or is it D apostrophe, or is it not? What pre-qualifications do I have to have? Oh, have I had a beer before? Okay, yes. Then did you like it? Well, please continue this interview. That's pretty much it, guys.
Yeah.
There you go.
I love it. And for those who either watching or know somebody, or who are watching or listening and know somebody that might want to apply, I know that is there a place where they could reach out even before the jobs maybe hit the market to just be like, hey, can you keep me in mind for anything specific? Or what's the best way, just while we're here, just to give it a plug for folks who are already into it?
I mean, we can always take an email at info@4origins.com. We run a lot of the job adverts through our Facebook as well as, kind of through regular job sites. But yeah, in potential, if there's someone interested, as we said, we don't know necessarily what's down the line. We're going to, as needs come along, we'll be looking for new people to fill those needs. But we are open to all invitations from around, and that's why we're so happy to be working with Link Up too, so we can really spread that search further as we grow and kind of grow the family in a more diverse way as well.
Yeah,
love it. That's
exactly.
Perfect. Yeah, we want to signal boost anything you have, so keep us. Obviously, we always keep in touch anyway. But when the time's right, shoot us all the links and we'll blast
definitely
them out.
blast them out. Yeah.
So a couple things I definitely want to touch on here. Previous to Link Up, you were already participating in your own initiative that's somewhat similar. Do you guys maybe want to just talk about that and sort of, because that's why it was such a good fit. I think like you're saying that it was like an automatic, like, how do we get involved, because you were one of the few, if not probably one of the only breweries here in Quebec that were proactively doing something in this space. Do you want to maybe just touch on that and what you were doing and just so people are aware that this is something that's this important to 4 Origins.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'll touch probably non-apostrophe will share this with me, but
I love how the name keeps evolving.
It's non-apostrophe.
It's getting shorter and shorter.
NA.
No, I think, and I'm gonna be very transparent with you guys, because I think this is what this is about. That when all this started, when like COVID's kind of created all these, brought to the surface a lot of conversations that needed to happen.
Yeah.
And it really spawned all this, like, again, to be fully transparent here, whether like now we're jumping on, we're participating willingly, and the back is beautiful. We have a great plan for it. When something like that concept originally happened, we didn't want to just out willingly like jump on the bandwagon. And I'd like to explain that just to like, though sounding like a dick, we didn't want to go on something that people would be like, 4 Origin just jumping on that bandwagon and trying to get publicity through a stint that started in the US. So like we took our time with and we really thought like, how can we show that we acknowledge what's happening here, and that we agree with things are undervalued, people are undervalued, circumstances are undervalued. And what we decided to do is to create we spoke with a Quebec school, Jonquière, and we created a bourse. So like we wanted to create this idea that if you are someone, and again, I'm going to be very transparent because that's just the way I am, but if you are someone who is not white and has a beard and knows how to brew, that you can apply to this grant, and 4 Origins is going to support you in your education aspect. And not only are we going to support you through the educational system, and if you go for this, we'll pay for that part of your education, but if you follow through with it, then you have the potential to be offered a job at 4 Origins. So that was something that like we thought that it was stronger and it was more powerful. There's still work to do in terms of the communication and in terms of the system in Quebec through the schools and whatnot to put that out there and be like, there are breweries that are doing this, and it's not just general grants like with someone's name on the top of a trophy, but this is a thing that exists to, like, if you want to do this and you have doubts and you're looking at applications and papers and whatnot, that before you even get into the school, before you apply, that you realize that there's an opportunity for you to have an advantageous position in this, and not to be intimidated, right? It was really to make it kind of open like that. So when we made this deal with with the brewing school in Quebec, it was really to showcase that fact, like just let's communicate that there's nothing like it's for everyone. It's absolutely for everyone, and it's an industry. I think that's why we did link up, while we're doing everything we're doing, that can be intimidating. And I mean, I speak as, look, I don't have a beard, but I am a general. I am a white dude, so I'm again very transparently, like it was very important for 4.0, and we believe in that concept to try to decrease that intimidation aspect, where you're not going into a school that it is going to be like all one sense of the word. Sorry, I know it's a little difficult to say without being choose the words, but I think we
no, I think you explained that perfectly.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love the intentionality behind it, and like I don't think that it's a bad thing that you're like, no, I'm not. I don't want to be perceived as if we're just jumping in on something because everybody was jumping in on it, which could be. We don't know everyone's intentions, but I appreciate your intentionality, where it's like, this is the same thing where it's like a brand that's just like, hey, Black History Month, check us out, like, or Happy Black History Month, you guys, and it's like, you have no Black people who work there, you never care about you're never talking about anything that has related to any other culture at any point in time, but you're like, okay, I'm going to do my thing and check it off. So there is this chance where somebody could do something like that and just be like, oh, okay, it looks like I did something, where you're like, no, we need to take it another level, because now it's like, okay, you have Black is Beautiful that comes out, and it's like there's something completely behind that besides that. Like, people will see Black is Beautiful, but then they'll also see you have Link Up, then they'll also see that you have this program running too, which is just like, we're living and breathing this. We're not just doing it as a moment to capitalize on one moment.
It wasn't for the sale, you know?
Yes, exactly.
And like, I agree. Like we're like, it's actually like coincidence and not that we're doing Link Up and then Black is Beautiful. But I think enough time has passed since, even though it seems like every month in one province, state or the other, namely Ottawa recently, but that there's some kind of like revolution happening. But that has nothing to do with why we're doing this. We're doing it because like it's a symbol, right?
Yeah. No,
And,
I think that's super important.
But it takes time sometimes. Like we wanted to wait till people could calm down a bit, I think, because it's all very sensitive, and we didn't want to jump on the emotional bandwagon. We just wanted to do it for a good cause.
That's fair.
And it all ties in as well, so because obviously like this BAOS we've been offering for just over a year and a bit now, 2 years I think, Mike. Rose 2020 we started, but Link Up is kind of see it as bridging that extra gap, because for that grant you have to be interested enough in brewing to be willing to go to brewing school to do it, right? So that's already, and like my saying, it can be intimidating to decide, okay, this is exactly what I want to do, enough that I'm going to pay to go to school, or I'm going to go to school somewhere outside, away from home, to go and study this one thing without necessarily having dipped your toe in that world before. So Link Up with bringing someone like Sarah in and introducing them to what is happening here, that could be the kind of the catalyst that says, okay, I want to go to brewing school now. And then we can provide that opportunity for them to see that through, from doing a internship of a short internship with us through the Link Up, to then going to brewing school and then coming and working with us. That's kind of what we want to see it through. So these programs complement each other, which is why Link Up was such a natural fit for Four Origins. We were doing this before we kind of knew about Link Up was coming around, but it needed that extra push. And you guys have kind of really helped that. But like I was saying, with the whole key is accessibility. We've made an accessible beer. We're making it accessible to all, but we want the industry to be accessible as well. So it really needs to be, but break down those barriers as much as possible, whether it's through these kind of through these initiatives and organizations that we're doing.
And I'd like to say, like, I know we're I don't want to drag this on.
No, we're good.
Okay, good.
This is very important. No, this is very important. And I think that historical context also, in terms of what you're doing, is super key. So you're not dragging.
Thank you. Thank you. So anyways, the person speaking is D apostrophe, just to be
wonderful.
Clear.
Thank you for
sorry, I'm gonna keep it. It's just too funny.
We have
but for anyone listening who does have a genuine interest, or honestly, like any brewery or any kind of institution that might want to get involved with this, we can talk on the side of this. Is from a Forage's perspective. There is a financial commitment that we're willing to make to the education of anyone who's interested. And when we talk about that going to the next level in terms of like an internship at Forage's, it also is paid. So this isn't like a charity or an opportunity for us to bring anyone on just to have them work. This is a genuine opportunity that we want to give to someone who is interested. So don't be shy. Do not be shy. That's the main point. Like for us, it's that no one should be shy. No one should be intimidated. If you want to work in manufacturing for carbonated beverages, whether it be beer or anything else, like just go out there and get it. Go grab that. Just go get it. Seriously.
The only criteria is you have to legally be willing to change your name to Mike.
There you go.
Mike D.
Mike D specifically.
Cool, Mike.
Everyone is
This
called
is part
Mike.
of it. Another thing.
It makes it way easier. It's already too confusing.
Yeah. One other thing that's very like synergistic about that all is like Link Up was born out of like Black is Beautiful coming up, and then Sekyum participating and being like, oh, I don't want to just it be this thing where this is just like we did the beer and we gave money and then that was just it. Like I want this to be something further,
impactful,
and that's where we're birthed out of. So like I love that. I think there's a lot of synergy in there where it's like I don't want this to be, not a moment, it's a movement. We're really dedicating our time to like changing the landscape of a certain industry, and I think that's very cool. So
it's really important, and like when you look at the original commitment from like Weathered Souls in the US, right? Like when this first kind of came out, it was so personal, but it was also so like it's about fucking time. Excuse me, like I'm aiming to do this, like and then it exploded. But like you listen to podcast interviews with the head brewer over there, and it's like I wasn't waiting for an opportunity, but I saw it and I was like, okay, well, and again, it's not like an opportunity like in terms of marketing. It's just like, well, I have a platform here that I'm going to use, and goddamn, yes, you're going to use it, and you go for it, And it's the same principle that you guys are trying to do, that we're trying to do with Link Up, is like telling people to have a damn voice and like go,
Yeah.
It's super important, but it's scary, and I think people need to realize that they have a lot of support.
It's really easy to rest on your privilege and just accept the status quo that this is people don't apply, they're not interested, right? Like it's very easy not to want to actively do anything to change it, but like if you're not making a change, then you're part of the problem, right? Like so making active steps to make a difference, like we're actively and have been for a while trying to diversify our small space of the workforce, our small team in Pointe-Saint-Charles and Dorval. Like that's it, but there has to be ripple effects coming out of that. So if you're not making the change, then you're just sitting and benefiting from the privilege of not making that change for yourself. So
as far as management concerns at Forage's, passion and qualifications have an equal weight on the scale. They have different implications in what you can do for the business, but the weight and our consideration to bring you onto the team is the same.
That's what you were saying to me the other day, and I was just explaining that to Tiff when we were chatting, that was something that you said that was super key. And I think therein lies the challenge, because we're trying to introduce this industry to multiple groups. Obviously, BIPOC is extraordinarily vast group of people, to try and introduce this to people so that they can develop that passion. And I think that it's extra tough in a province like Quebec that we've spoken, obviously with 50-50 of all of these collabs are Quebec and Ontario. And one of the things that we're hearing, which is potentially maybe what you've experienced with the brewing school bursary there, is like there isn't a volume of people of color in some of these smaller towns. Like there's literally might be none, like literally. So I think that's something that we need. But we're in Montreal, and there's a lot of different people in here. It's a complete, tapestry of individuals, of human beings. So I feel like this is, here and probably Quebec City a bit as well. We have a lot of opportunity to do that and to really spread that the word and get people interested so they can develop that passion, so that they can go through and follow these steps. It's an interesting journey for everybody, for all sides.
100%, and I think it comes down to more than that. I hope I'm not upsetting anyone on a different end on the education system here, but I think it comes down to more than just like for Origins or anyone to offer an opportunity. It comes down to the educational system, whether like the brewing schools are super small, right? Like there's not that many of them, but like, man, like advertise it as everything needs to be inclusive. Everything needs to be advertised as inclusive, right? And I have a hard time taking full ownership or like, I mean, in thinking that like it's up to a brewery to make a decision to do something like this, where like I'm literally only a third party plugin to this giant mechanism that is the system, and it's like I need the system to help me communicate to the end user, which is everyone we're talking about, anyone who is, and we'll say like anyone who's not white, right? Who's just anyone, or like, and even women in the industry, like it's hard, and it's not something that we can do alone as a brewery, and it's hard for. I'm always choosing my words here, sorry, because it's like it's a super sensitive subject, and don't want to overstep it, but I think that it's unfair for breweries to be expected to take all the ownership on this, whether it's going to be our provincial national association, or it's going to be our educational system to give these opportunities and to promote it. It's like, God damn it, promote this shit, man. Like seriously, like just make it clear that it's like everybody's accepted. You don't need any goddamn experience here. All you need is this passion to do this. Like the brewing industry is so goddamn awesome. Like craft beer is craft beer, It's like there's a reason that we are spending the time tonight to do this, and we're all here, and we're like every time we just hear like we open that can and it's like it's awesome, but like it's only gonna be awesome as much as the people behind it are as awesome as that feeling, and it's like that's not gonna happen by some. Okay, anyways, that's my rant.
It needs to be vocalized. I also think that's interesting because obviously we're not privy to say the organizations that you're all under, but I think that's also interesting and maybe even interesting for us to think about.
I was just thinking.
Were you thinking about that too?
No, we know them. We did the interview that spawned.
Oh, we did the interview
because we were talking to you guys.
But I mean, across Canada.
That was actually something else that you guys. Yeah, the cross Canada one.
Yeah,
that was the conversation we had with you and Keegan.
Yeah, I don't want to.
But that was a positive thing in the end. It maybe was a little bit of a mild drama, which was kind of funny. But at the end of the day, the outcome was great.
Yeah,
it was great, and it's still good today. And actually, like it's the only unified communication that we've had in Canada as a craft beer industry since. Wait, let me check. Ever?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. By the way, this is still Mike D apostrophe speaking.
Got to remind them every now and then. I actually credit you guys for pushing them to move faster, because I think you put a fire under their asses. They were doing it, but I think they moved faster because of the pressure you put on them. And
don't speak too loud.
I think they would acknowledge that.
I think so too.
But it worked out fantastic, and I think that's what Tiff was saying.
Great admission is that I think they could be leveraged, or they could be supporting more in this area. Like I'd be curious to know, like what what are your organizations, your representatives, the organizations that you're a part of doing to push the message of diversity and inclusion across the beer industry? How are they making sure that gets out? Like when I think about the US one, like what's the, do you know the name of that one?
Brewers Association.
Like they actually, like our friends Crowns and Hops were, I think, recipients of some form of grant under them to like encourage black brewery owners and things like that. Do you know what I mean? Like there were several grant recipients that they've had. So I'm like, what are other things that you can be doing outside of just representing the people who are in there in order to bring more people into this organization? I think that's a consideration. Yeah. And I think that's even something that we can take back and think about, because I'd be curious if there's some opportunity to speak to them in a way that's like, hey, we need to start getting these messages out. Yeah, we need to start getting these messages out. This sparked the whole thing, because we got a meeting next week about all this shit with the team, and like we got a whole bunch of things. I think this is another very key thing. I didn't even consider the associations, because like you said, and I never thought of this, that it's not just on the breweries, because the breweries have some power, but they don't have the communication volume that these networks do, that these provincial and now federal beer bodies have. And in order to be a member of the federal one, I believe you have to be a member of the provincial one, and the vast majority of breweries are. Not all are, but the vast majority are. I think there are some legs in that, and that is, I think we need to proactively do something. So you've absolutely sparked some ideas. That's awesome.
And another revolution has been.
What more can you expect from a Thursday?
Mike, not apostrophe D, you were supposed to stop me from.
I think you're doing right. Just get the pitchforks out afterwards.
No.
I'm here for it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's put.
I think you're right though. It needs that. It's kind of crazy that it's taken these groups like yourself, like Link Up, like small organizations, to really light these fires that people have to respond to. I think I'm thinking of like all the stuff that's been coming out with Erin Bruford publishing, like small people publishing on social media, getting awareness out there, and then people have to respond to it. But things aren't going to move unless people aren't bringing this stuff up and bringing it to light and drawing attention to this issue. And that's why I think Link Up is so key, and why having these Link Up cans on the shelves is like the matching yellow is going to be great. Like these series coming out, people are eventually going to take notice of it. These like all these breweries coming together. These like so far I've had such great breweries in both provinces, and hopefully we'll see it spread across Canada as well. And just get
beyond
draw this national attention to this issue and diversify the entire industry that way.
Thank you. And I think we're super grateful too. There's been so many, even when we're already looking at the next round, there's all these breweries that we admire who are like, okay, how do we step up? How do we get involved? How do we do this? And it's very, very cool to see.
So here's a crazy idea. I'm gonna do it.
Do it.
So we have this idea of Link Up, which like doesn't have any like provincial bounds. Let's call it, like I don't know who the next. I don't know what volume 2 is going to give in terms of the next 2 breweries, but as far as I can see, it's not. There's no lines, right?
No.
So
internationally too.
Rather,
we're looking
internationally even better. So maybe there's an opportunity here to. It's like I could say this 2 years ago. I wouldn't have proposed this because the Quebec brewing industry was. Well, we're still under an umbrella. The AMBQ does a good job as much as they can to promote the brewing industry, allow us access to a tremendous amount of information. Lately, I really appreciated they've been bringing over U.S. and international ideas and concepts, and really trying to bring the province to the next level. However, I think that the fact that we now have a Canadian association. It could be very interesting to tie in this idea of promotion and awareness. Okay, not asking anyone for any kind of financial commitment. Obviously, marketing is expensive. I understand, but there's no commitment here. But the message itself is way better distributed, especially since we do not have those boundaries with Link Up or the message. That may be that national. Canadian Brewing Association that should be something that we should consider is to kind of jump on that and to get this message just there. Like the BA, the Brewers Association in the US, I've often made the mistake of comparing them to us here. We're unfortunately light years behind in terms of like financing and advancement, but I don't think we're behind on what we need to do for the generations and just like general communication. So it's something to consider. And your guys, like your purpose, your mission statement, and I think it's very open, it's very new, it's very dynamic. And the way that thing's built is that it has representatives from every province across the country. And if that's going to open up a door, let's get this bigger. Let's have it link up in all the liquor commissions in all the provinces, man. Let's go.
Now you've inspired that for sure. Like, I'm going to pitch it to the team next week and see if we can figure something out that makes sense to talk to them. I know Steve and Fred, so I'll reach out to them directly and tell them about it because they might not already know. But I think that's a really, really, really important point because it's really all about communicating the message en masse to the breweries. And it's, right now we're doing it grassroots as hell, like bit by bit, brick by brick type of thing. And that's cool, but that's going to take fucking forever. So we do need to
have even further strategic partnerships and also just making sure larger organizations are committing to this as well or have the opportunities. If we can partner with them to drive the mission, I think that's really key. So I'm
stoked.
That's it.
Yeah.
2 years ago, that this spider web of like beer diversity and like that's been even on social media. Like I don't know her personally, but
Ren.
Ren.
Yeah. Ren, with like she like I've seen her like lately on social just posting about like companies' mission statements and whatnot, and I'm like, I look at that and I'm like, man, we don't have like literally today. I was looking at this and I'm like, why didn't I print this out, put it in a photo frame and like at least put it in every bathroom in the brewery, so people could look at this all the time in the hallways, in the offices, everywhere, And it's like I see these companies that are doing this and they're very clear statements that's like, no, we're super chill, but just no bullshit, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And zero tolerance laws. I'm like, that exact concept tied to the link up. We didn't have a spider web of a national message in terms of breweries until 2 years ago when the Canadian seal was established and we needed this Canadian establishment there. And now it's there. So like no pressure. I wouldn't put pressure because I know for a fact that they're doing a lot. But at the same time, like low pressure never hurt anyone. So
there you go.
The least we can do is pitch it to them and let them know, and hopefully they see the vision and get the fuck on board, so we can make a bit larger change. So I love it. This is great. This is productive. Look at this. Like a
super
meeting.
productive. Right? Yeah.
I love it. See, this series has been like this the whole time. Like every conversation has been A1. I mean, all the breweries are also top of the pack. So look, we're coming in at the hour mark. So this has been really, really great. Both non-apostrophe and apostrophe. That's basically it for now. So first thing first, where can everybody find Four Origins online?
We are at Four Origins Beer on Instagram and Microbrasserie 4 Origines on Instagram and I believe on Twitter, but we're not very active on there either. That's where you can find us for now.
Amazing. Awesome. And by the time this comes up, this will come out. We're a little behind, so this will come out in a couple of weeks from when we're filming it. So by the time this comes out, you should be able to find the beer essentially in most specialty beer stores across Quebec and potentially a lot of larger, like grocery and things like that, where the distro where you find other Four Origins beers.
And hopefully you'll be able to find it with our Black is Beautiful as well. They'll be coming out pretty much like a week after one after the other.
It's going to sell out fast. It's really, really good.
It's really, really
A1.
Good. It's really,
if you don't buy it...
Look at that lacing. Look at that beautiful lacing.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Gorgeous.
Oh, it's money.
Yeah.
Look at that empty glass.
Empty. I love
gorgeous.
it.
Yeah.
Let's get the thumbnail before I forget.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to hold up the cans? There we go. Go. Oh, that was stunning. Boys, stick around just after. I'm going to wrap this up, and then we'll say goodbye just once we wrap it up. But both of you, thank you very much, seriously, for taking the time. Mm-hmm. You can keep holding it.
I like that you're still holding it. Just making sure. Just get the picture. Yeah.
Just keep holding. Don't
was I frozen? No, sorry. I was excited.
Appreciate you guys for the time tonight, and also for once again being a part of it.
Great conversation.
I've known both of you for a while, and it really means a lot, man, for real, that you guys are so committed to it. And you to the point where you decided you didn't have to distribute this and get this out there, but you did, and you're pushing obviously this means something to you, and it's just phenomenal. And I appreciate you both very much, and shouts to Keegan as well. Like, just good people making, trying to make wonderful things from a great business. So I appreciate you all for real. Everybody, thank you so much for watching and listening. So make sure you check out Four Origins, but what do you do? If you enjoyed the episode, smash the thumbs up, hit subscribe below, hit the notification bell so you know when the new drops. Follow us on social media everywhere at BAOS Podcast. Also at Link Up Beer everywhere. If you are someone who wants to apply to be an applicant in our program to get a Cicerone scholarship or any of the other options that we offer, linkupbeer.org, because we are a certified, registered non-profit. You know the vibes. Check it out. We'll love to hear from you. Once again, it's info@fouroriginsbeer.com. Is that correct? If you're interested in any
job opportunities.
Yeah, opportunities for the future. Appreciate you all. We'll see you in the next episode, guys. Get it in you.
Bye.